Welcome, listeners of the Vault. If you dare step closer, subscribe. For here, you'll never walk alone again. We release new horrors every night. One evening, the story whispered may be yours. Now, listen carefully. The city never truly sleeps. Even past midnight, the hum of streetlights fills the air, and the occasional hiss of a bus echoes down empty avenues. But there is one intersection where silence feels heavier than it should. 4 streets cross beneath a flickering red light. The crosswalk signal has been broken for years, its buzzing frame dangling in the night wind. Locals say you should never stop there when the light turns red, no matter what. They keep their cars rolling slowly through, eyes fixed straight ahead, knuckles tight on the wheel. Because sometimes, if you glance toward the curb, you'll see her. A figure standing at the edge of the crosswalk, pale, motionless, waiting. She doesn't move, doesn't speak, and yet, somehow, everyone knows she's watching. The longer you sit there, the heavier the silence grows. The street feels colder. The shadows stretch closer. And drivers whisper that if you linger too long, if your eyes meet hers under the flicker of the light, when you finally drive away, you won't be alone in your car anymore. They say the first driver to ever speak of her was a man coming home from work on the graveyard shift. It was nearly 2 in the morning, and the streets were empty, slick with rain. He stopped at the red light, tired eyes staring ahead. At first, he thought the figure was just another late-night pedestrian, a woman waiting to cross. But the longer he looked, the stranger she became. Her clothes were out of place, faded, like they belonged to another decade. Her skin was too pale, almost glowing under the street lamp's broken light, and she never blinked. He swore he saw her lips part just slightly, as though she were whispering something, but no sound reached his ears. He looked away, gripping the wheel, willing the light to change. When it finally turned green, he sped off, but in the rearview mirror, she was still there, staring after him. Others began to tell the same story. Late-night drivers, delivery workers, nurses leaving their shifts. Each described her the same way, standing at the curb, waiting, never moving. But then came the second part of the tale, whispered only in hushed tones. If you stopped too long at the crossing, if you let your eyes meet hers under that flickering light, you would hear it. At first, just the faintest breath in your ear. A voice, impossibly close, though no one sat beside you. Sometimes it spoke your name. Sometimes it laughed, low and broken. But always, it stayed with you for the rest of the drive. One woman swore she saw movement in her backseat mirror. A pale hand pressed against the glass from the inside, fingers long and skeletal, dragging slowly across the window. When she turned, nothing was there. Only silence, only the hum of the engine and the pounding of her heart. And still, she could feel it. The sense of being watched. Not from the curb anymore, but from inside the car. It was only a matter of time before someone stayed too long. The story goes that it was a rideshare driver. Young, distracted, his phone buzzing with directions as he pulled up to the intersection. He stopped at the light, tired of fighting the late-night traffic, and glanced up without thinking. She was there, the pale woman at the curb, waiting. He told himself not to stare, not to look, but the harder he tried, the more his eyes betrayed him. Something about her face. It drew him in. Her features were wrong, soft, blurred, like water smearing an old photograph. Her eyes, black and bottomless, locked with his. The light flickered, red, green, back to red again. It should have changed, but it didn't. He was trapped in that moment, engine idling, heart hammering in his chest. And then, she smiled. It wasn't a smile of kindness. It was jagged, splintered, a tearing of her face into something inhuman. And before he could look away, before he could blink, she stepped forward. Not across the street, not around his car, forward, through the glass, through the door. He screamed, swerving into the intersection, but it was too late. Passers-by swore they saw his car cut across traffic, tires screeching as he vanished into the night. When police found the vehicle hours later, it was parked on the edge of the city, engine cold, driver's door wide open, keys still in the ignition. But the driver was gone. No footprints, no sign of struggle. Only one detail stood out. The seatbelt on the passenger side was pulled tight, as though buckled around someone still sitting there. And in the faint film of dust on the dashboard, 4 long scratches carved deep into the plastic, like fingernails dragged down with unnatural strength. From that night forward, the whispers grew. The silent crossing was no longer just a place to fear. It was a place that took people. Some say the light itself is cursed, forcing you to stop. Others swear she chooses who can pass and who must stay. But every version of the story ends the same. If you see her, if you meet her eyes, you will not drive home alone. The intersection still stands today. 4 streets crossing beneath that single broken red light. Cars pass it every night, their tires hissing over the asphalt, engines rumbling through the quiet. Yet no one dares to linger there. The city itself seems to know. The sidewalks crack deeper around that spot, as though the ground refuses to hold steady. The wires above groan in the wind, and the crosswalk sign never stops buzzing. A hollow, electric sound, like the echo of a voice trying to escape. Most drivers won't even admit it out loud, but they all feel it. The shift in the air when they approach, the way the streetlights dim, the way the silence presses against the windows of their cars, thick and suffocating as if the night itself is holding its breath. And sometimes, just sometimes, a glimpse in the corner of the eye betrays the truth. She is still there, standing at the curb, waiting. It doesn't matter how fast you pass, how tightly you grip the wheel. The pale woman watches, her gaze follows, endless and patient. Those who meet her eyes, those who falter even for a second, are never the same. People whisper about the aftermath. One man claimed he made it home after seeing her, but when he opened his apartment door, the hallway was already filled with wet footprints. He lived alone. A woman described waking in the middle of the night to the sound of her car horn, blaring from the street below. When she looked out her window, the driver's door hung open, and in the seat, just barely illuminated by the street lamp, someone was sitting, waiting for her to come down. And there are those who never get to tell their story at all. Their cars found abandoned, engines still warm, radios still playing, the driver gone without a trace, leaving only the faintest scratch marks on the passenger side, or a seatbelt buckled tight with no one sitting in it. No one knows how many have been taken. No one knows if those who vanish are dragged into her silence, or if they become part of it, condemned to watch and wait at the curb beside her. And so the rule remains. The silent crossing is to be avoided. Do not stop. Do not look. Do not acknowledge the figure beneath the red light. Because the moment you do, the moment your eyes betray you, she will follow you home. The city moves on, yet her shadow never fades. One street, one light, one figure who waits for the next driver who stays too long. You've been listening to The Silent Crossing. Subscribe to The Vault, for we open every night. New horrors are waiting, and one evening, the next story may be yours. And if you have a story of your own, a haunting you've endured, a shadow you've seen, a silence you cannot explain, feel free to drop it in the comments. Because here in The Vault, the line between your world and ours is thin, and your tale may be the next to echo in the dark. This is the Fright Night Vault, and here, you will never walk alone again.